Hey guys, hi, how you doing? This is Fabian, and by now I must have probably one or two more followers, right? Basically, or more people that are listening to me, right? It's a little bit more, I guess, seriousness and not too loosely. So, with that said, you guys remember I predicted the slingshot, right? Of what happened a couple years, the house market in this slingshot. Now let me tell you what it's all about. Now it's about solving the house affordability crisis. Basically, sure they'll use the narrative as homeless and all this, but the only affordability is if it's GOV Section 8 based on your income. Also, and they're gonna use affordability housing very loosely. What I mean by that is not take advantage, but if you want to call it that, sounds kind of mean. But you should remember, people make money on sensitivity, so they just have to use different terms and words to get your money. So the big boom right now, or the slingshot that's gonna happen, yes, I mentioned it. This is double dipping. They haven't done this probably never ever. Um, Today is May the 11th, 2022. And you're like, what do you mean, Slingshot? I've been here. There's a recession coming. There's a recession on the horizons. Yes, there is a recession, I guess if you want to call it that, to those working average. Obviously, it's already here. We can barely afford gas to go to work. We can barely afford food. You go in the store and you buy a bag. It's already $100 of groceries. So no, you already on a recession. Basically, the big gap it's at work. Rich, poor, right? The poor got poor and the richer got richer. Okay, so that's just the way it is. Anyways, I'm going to a different topic, but let's stay focused. So the house affordability basically is it's gonna boom. They're gonna use this as a money tool. Um, because what's a house affordability? What's affordability? What's affordability with an inflation? 1,500 a month? Is that gonna be affordability for medium class, which is still high in my mind here around Coachella Valley? What is it gonna be in LA, which is still the same money, just more numbers? What is affordability? $3,000 a house, two bedroom, one bathroom apartment, little apartment. So the only affordability if it's gonna be GOV Section 8, different, basically different identities, government identities working and helping out based on your income. But no, there's gonna be also private sectors, private contractors, private corporation, big corporation right now are buying commercial lots everywhere, commercial lots, because this has already started since January 2022. Gavin Newsom, the government of California, just recently just passed. If you have a residential lot, you can make it a duplex. Not no more a single. Before it used to be just a single home, right? Now you can make it a duplex. That was just the start. That was kind of like the little shove as in what's happening. So if you weren't aware of this, it's happening already. And obviously, just like the middle class, once it happened and it's over, that's when you actually realize what just happened. And the market's too, like right now it's a big leap for the big boys. For the small boys like us, the amateurs, um, the train is going way too fast. You have to have a lot of money. It's going so fast that if you try and jump in it, you're gonna get hurt. Now it's the big leagues. You had your chance 2 years ago when I mentioned it. Remember when I mentioned it? That was 2 years ago. Now it's just the big league, the big boys. So what I'm trying to say, it's those that have money or could afford to lose, because it's an investing. It's always a risk, right? It's always a risk. So afford to lose. But I'll tell you something. Just like the stock market, you saw it this week, right? 1,000 points down, 7, 5. 1,000. People are freaking out. You're seeing in Facebook and social media and Twitter. You're seeing a lot of talk about the stock market, right? Well, they're doing their job, right? They want to make you think they're de-inflating this inflation. I don't see no de-inflation. It's first inflation, deflating, recession, right? So they're telling you we're already on the peak of the basically of the the recession. It's coming. It's coming. But the big boy, and so all the small groups, small companies, they're jumping out of the boat on stock market. That's what you're seeing that go down, down, down. They're holding to their money. Not saying where the stock market's gonna crash. No, it's not gonna crash. Because if you see real estate, for all those out there, my real estate guys, that you guys talk to me and sometimes we conversate, you've been saying there was a recession 2 years ago. And I told you, no, it wasn't. It was going to be a slingshot. And once the slingshot hit, I would see you be like, oh, like, just keep walking, not talking to me. Instead of coming so I could show you more of your own job. Let me teach you your job. So, nah, just kidding. But, you know, different mentalities. Some real estate, we call them, and I know, I get to see, we call them just paper pushers. Basically, they just push papers, but they're not aware of the economy. They're not aware of real estate. They're just not aware. They're used to doing just their job, basically one way, and they don't really look too. And it's okay. They're awesome real estate. They could still help you get that home. Okay, so not talking them down. You just some are push paper. You know, they push paper. Okay, and others are go getters. Others are just into it and have a good tuition and they could tell you what the economy is. They have a little bit more expansion on their knowledge. But with that said, okay, so right now it's affordable housing. So buy, yes. Right now it's if you're middle class, no. Right now houses are gonna stay stable. Stability is good right now. There's no recession. Stability is good. They're gonna stay stable. The reason is because there was an inflation. So technically, you'll never see houses never ever again here in Palm Springs for 100,000, 80,000, or in Cathedral City or India. Why? Because there was an inflation. Does that make sense? So if there's an inflation, basically, and houses go up, they really didn't go up. It's kind of like your payment. Your this year you got a deflation, underpayment. Basically, you're making less because the inflation is at 8.2. That's what they say. The news tells you. No, it's like 30% inflation. Everything went double. I don't know what they're talking about. 8.3. They're just messing. You know, probably average, but mostly more than average. It's 50%. Everyone wants a piece of the action. Now, let me go off script like I always do, but it's for a good reason. Something just jumps in my mind. As you see, I don't have this scripted. It's just in my mind. Feds raise interest rates to help inflation. Now, you tell me when everything's going up by raising interest rate, how the hell you're going to help inflation? No. You just want a part of the action. You are getting ready systematically for something big that's coming up. Yes, you're double dipping on the second slingshot that's coming behind us. Okay? So by 2023, the Fed's interest rate is going to be probably at 7%. Why? Because they know when there's a strong market, we'll pay it. Why? Because in the 90s, it was at 12%, and we went through a big boom, which is not even close to this. We went to a big boom, and people were paying it happy. So if you're in your 50s, you remember that 60, you remember that big boom, right? People were paying 12% interest rate like nothing. They wouldn't complain. It was average. It was normal paying 12%. So this is happening. They're getting ready. Okay, so you're telling me that almost in a recession, to help us out, that means take away our money, right? To help us out, they're going to raise Fed's interest rate. They're going to raise, they just raised, today is May the 11th. A week ago, they just raised gas taxes. And they're talking about raising federal income taxes. Yes, your hard work, you know the job that when they take away taxes, they're about to raise it. I don't know if 0.313 pennies, whatever, but still, it's called raising. Okay? Instead of giving you a cutback because this administration cares about you, let's remember, no, they're raising taxes on you as if inflation wasn't enough, as if you paying in the pump is not enough, okay? So, but you gotta think why they're doing, because they're setting up themselves, because this economy is very promising, very strong, and very far from a recession, okay? This deflation is they're pulling the slingshot back while medium class is jumping, while medium class and poor are holding on to their hard working and money, while the big boys are getting everything set up, and they have a lot of money, so they could lose a million, 2 million, 5 million. So when the slingshot goes up, they make 30 million, right? Does that make sense? This is the big boys league. Your chance already passed by when I told you should have done something. When I told you should have bought lots for 20, 15,000. Now right now they're 60,000, and they stopped around me. They stopped already. Not, but they haven't gone down. They just stopped, just like houses. They're already balanced out. This is max. Can you make money on the house? Sure, but now it takes more money. Basically, plain money. Basically, you have to be rich. You have to. It's a risk. Everything's a risk. So basically, before you would invest 100,000 to make 300,000, even 400,000. Now those days are over. Now it's backwards. That's for the big leagues. Now you invest 100,000 to still make 30,000 in a little longer period. But if you're a millionaire, you could afford that. You could buy a couple of them and just wait out and still make a couple of millions, right? When I say millionaire, I mean in the middle class, because that's middle class right now, millionaires. It's you having a million is nothing, especially with this inflation. If you had a million, you basically have $700,000 already. You have a million count, but the dollar is less value. Just like you were working for $15 an hour, let's say $20 an hour, with the inflation at 8.3, which was like 40. Now you're making, with everything so prices, now you're making $16, $17 an hour with the inflation. So you got down payment, you got basically a decreased payment instead of raise for hanging in there, for being supportive, for being COVID-19 supporting and staying in your job. And the ones that were making minimum wage caught up to you. While you went to school a year on the technician, whether it's a dentist, a pharmacy technician, while you did more and beyond above from the guy that was smoking weed, from the guy that was lazy, from the girl that just didn't care, from, now they caught up to you. Am I making sense? Yes. Thank you for being smart, and thank you for being there, and maybe you should have got a raise instead of anyways. So that's another topic to see life and see things around you. Now with that said, this is just a whole chaos on the medium class. But what's happening right now, houses are still basically going to stay, and they're going to go up, like I said, a little up, little slowly. But the investment right now is for the millionaires. Buy commercial lots. It's housing affordability. We are in such a demand of housing, as you guys can see. We're probably short by 4 million housing that needs to be built in the next 10 years, in the next 5 years. Seriously, I'm not just making this up. This is statistically proven. I read a lot, I see things a lot. So with that said, it's coming. People are already getting ready. When I say people, it's the big leagues are already getting ready. They're buying commercial lots, duplex, you name it, hotels. All that is just gonna go crazy in the next 2 years. And with that, obviously money trickles down for, I guess you want to call it the help, but it's not the help, it's like us, right? We serve, it trickles down, so there's gonna be so much money that we're gonna be okay paying $3,000, $4,000 for rents. Or for a mortgage. It's going to be the norm. Now, how come this economy is strong? Because they done exactly the right things to do to keep it up. Which is, remember, We already went through this in the last war. So yes, the war in Ukraine. Okay, that war in Ukraine. Okay, the one Russia started, right? Not the US, Russia, right? Because we are in the war for energy. So remember, when there's a war for water, water is depleted. When there's a war for, let's say, for when there's a war for water, water depletes. When there's a war for energy, what happens? Energy depletes. So right now, this war is for energy, right? Oil, coal. It's a war for energy, natural gas. Okay? And who started it? Well, let's just say it's a war. Okay? Let's not go into there. But if you're smart, you already know. We done this already. Last war. Anyways, we done it a couple of times. So, anyways, so with this said, we're gonna boom. The only reason there's a recession is when the war takes too long. And in between, there's still a lot of contractors, a lot of subcontractors, a lot of that make a lot of money in the war. Builders and they give contracts here, there. There's a lot of money under the table, and it trickles down. And unfortunately, it's progression, if you want to call that, with collateral damage, right? But that's a whole different story too. So with that said, so basically with that said is there's a war, Ukraine. We are, remember, sensitivity? We are already at 54. Today's May 11, 2022. The Congress is going to approve it, of course, because if they don't approve it, whoever votes nay to it looks wrong. Remember how the way they make it look? You guys, we've been through this sensitivity thing. Okay, so they're going to approve it. So now we're at $54 billion for aid for Ukraine, which I'm not against it. It's fine. People need help. People out there need weapons. They need guns. They need bullets, right? They need to kill, right? Exactly. That's what it's for. There's no sugarcoating it. Okay? So 54 billion. That's just the start. By the time this war, let me tell you, this war, we're for the long haul. Now, what does that got to do with our economy? A lot. That's why you're going to see prosperity here. So this war is for the long haul. We have never started a war or been in the war for freedom and lasting less than 5 months or a year. Of course not. We're for the long haul, and we're going to capitalize on everything we can and every resource we can. Okay? And we're still going to come out being as heroes. Right? So, the sad part about this is what makes more money on the war, it's our kids. Yes. Foot on ground. It's inevitable. It's gonna happen. That's where the money is. Why is there the money there? Because the Congress asks for a lot of money. Remember, when they ask for a lot of money and they transfer it, in between that, there's a lot of people that make so much money, and people that make guns, people that corporation. This is just for the big corporation. It trickles down to us, prosperity, right? Buying home, paying for stuff. But what do you mean? This administration, house, big corporation? Of course, left, right, whatever. Of course, this is the whole game, And this is for the big corporations. So when these 54 million have been already sending, in between, trust me, there's a lot of pushing, shoving, and sending and making a lot of happiness. I don't think they just go there and leave the 54 billion be like, oh, there you go, all of it. No. It's called administration. There's cost. It's called whatever you want to put. It's all about the naming, okay? So with that said, we're for the long haul, and the sad part is that, remind my words, boots on ground, okay? It's May 11, 2022. I'll post this in YouTube. And once this happens, you're going to be like, obviously, I don't have to explain myself. I think I have already done well by the last slingshot that I prognosticated a couple of years ago, and it happened, right? The only weird part about this is they're going to double dip in the slingshot. They have seen, I'm not sure if it was intentionally or it just worked for them with all this COVID-19 everything that happened, but they're gonna capitalize and do a double dipping, do a double slingshot, which it has never happened. When I mean a slingshot, usually in the past we used to do good gradually, and it would take some time. But they have found out that if they do the slingshot and they put everything together before even pulling the first sling, and once it's ready, if they do everything ready, by the time it gets there, most of us, which that's where they capitalize, were like, what happened? Oh, this happened. And by the time you even think or see or try to invest, it's too late, or you're just not gonna get so much capital gain off it. Hopefully I'm making sense. I know I lost probably 80% of people because this is just for a few people that are interested in learning how things work, how the economic of this works economically, how it rotates, and it's not always the same. It's almost the same. History tends to repeat itself, but it changes. We adapt based on what's going on, and we so it's not always on concrete. Things change, So everything that I'm saying, I'm actually interested next in the year 2 year to see exactly how it moved, or if I nailed it. If I nailed it, and it's exciting because if I nailed this, last one I kind of nailed it 80%, maybe 70, which that 70% was I could have made a lot of money, and I did. Very few people that listen, I made them a lot of money in the housing market, but I'm sad to say because I'm there. I'm sad to say the poor people like me, I'm there. Average people didn't listen and they could have made so much money, and right now they would have been so comfortable. Look at me, I gained weight. Before, when I was poor, I would buy the AM PM 199 cents per hot dog. Guess what? Now I get to have 3 hot dogs for $5.99. Oh yeah, so that's why I gained so much weight. Okay, but I'm working on that. That's a whole different issue. I'm working on that. Okay, so let's. This is not about me. It's about the economy. So, anyways, um, so that's how it trickles down war, and it's gonna make money. Obviously, the money comes from making more weapons. Yes, like the $80 billion weapons that we left in the last war that could have just been transferred. But wait a minute, that doesn't make money. No, no, no. Let's leave them over there. Let's give them away to the terrorists. That's fine, and let's give them $8 billion, right? Half and half. Anyway, that's a whole different story. And let's start making weapons here because out of the suddenly, oh, we jumped into another war for freedom, like just this one, like the past one. In less than 3 months, we jumped to another war. You get it? Come on, I'm sure you're getting it, and you gotta support it. You gotta support it, or you look bad if you don't support it. You just don't look sensitive enough. Okay, so you gotta support it, and you know what? I feel bad for collateral damage. Yes, I really do, but that's a whole different story. Like I said, the world goes round. Remember, someone's misery is someone's pleasure. Always, someone losing is someone's gaining. Always. Okay, so you gotta be blessed that you're in the winning side, and unfortunately I do feel bad for Ukrainians and people that are suffering, of course, but this has been going on for since the beginnings of times. Okay, just in different forms, different shape, and different talking, right? So now they have mastered the talking of how to manipulate and how to see that at the end we end up being heroes. Okay, anyways, I'm not undermining or talking bad about the US. I'm actually proud and I'm glad that we're in the winning side, and I hope this Ukraine war deal, Russia, come to a deal. I hope everything that I'm saying I'm wrong, for the sake of lives, for the sake of babies, I really hope I'm wrong. Okay, but history has taught me pretty much to say this what I'm just explaining to you or trying to explain to you, right? And so with that said, let me just break it up and let me get into the economics, which is that was the main focus of this talk. It is all about affordable housing. What's affordable housing? Well, a lot of people are going to start saying it very loosely to capitalize or gain in sensitivity, right? Because affordable housing could be from what's affordable housing. If it's not Section 8 or GOV, government identity based on your income, is not affordable housing, okay? It's not. It is just a company saying it's affordable housing in order to capitalize on this thing that's going on. And guess what? And they'll still get fools anyways. They'll still why? Because there's so much money is going to be trickling. And let me tell you exactly what's happening. This is, I believe it's on purpose. Who knows? Okay, they're holding on to money. Okay, check this out. They're holding on. They're not holding on, suppressing the money at this point, letting you think that there's a recession, getting everything aligned for them to capitalize, raising taxes. Because when they let go of the slingshot and so much money goes, guess who makes money? Yes, the ones that are raising the feds, you buying houses, blah, blah, blah. Because if they really wanted to help, remember Ronald Reagan? Those that are 50 older, I study this. If they remember Ronald Reagan, they really did try to help. They cut back federal taxes. They cut back completely capital gains. They cut back so many taxes to help through the recession or the deflation. Okay? That was really cutting back. This administration is not cutting back. What do you mean? We're already paying enough in the gas pump and they raise the taxes? We're already paying enough in groceries? We're already paying enough and they're still going to raise the taxes? Wait a minute, what's going on? And that's how they try to help inflation? Come on. You got to be a little bit dumb to think they're trying to help out. They're setting up. Now, don't get me wrong. You're still going to do good, but they're setting themselves up to do better, right? Because if you do, you got to contribute. And they also got to support a war that's going on, which that they got to invest to make money, right? Or for a lot of people, resources. This is a resource war, and everybody knows. Ukraine was already free. There was no problem with them, right? But anyways, that has a whole different story. Okay, so with that said, the main thing right here, the housing market is gonna stay stable. Still gonna make a little bit of money here and there. Rents are not gonna go down at all. Not at all. They're still gonna be very expensive whether you live in LA. San Francisco is the most expensive city. LA is the second one, more expensive nationally stated, nationally wise. Okay? So with that said, basically here, because there's a lot of things going in my mind, and as you can see, this is me. I'm not reading the prompter. I'm not doing the biting thing. It's just too much information in my mind, right? I got very low gigabytes at this point right now. Okay, my ROM is already full capacity. Anyways, so with that said, market's gonna stay stable. They are gonna tell you that we are Americans, and through diversity and through hard times, we have conquered, and based on our decisions and sanctions, and based on our knowledge for the people of the United States, we have avoided or dodged a recession because we were in the brink of a recession. But thanks to this administration, we have conquered, we have surpassed expectations. We have done so well that now, right now, we are booming. This is the best ever economy from any future or any past presidents of the United States. This administration has done it. Yes, they're deflating the slingshot to let it go. We're not even close to a recession, okay? Now they're saying, and people obviously the market has gone down 1,500 points. This whole week has been pretty bad, but that's just because your average like me that don't understand so many things are just jumping off the boat. The big boys are ready to make some serious money. There's no recession in the bloom. This is all just talk. This is your social media, your Twitter, your blah 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 saying all this, okay? Not even close. We've been in the brinks of going up, up, up since Trump was here. Everything has been set up for this economy. We've been eager as Americans to keep going. Index the in December, never the purchase price in index went up so high. People are willing to spend money, and with this injection of money that they just recently did, so much money. How are we gonna go on a recession? It created an inflation, of course, but based on that, they're gonna capitalize on it. Okay. Um. Yes, the poor are poorer, and the richer will get richer. Yes, they did a great job at doing that. Okay, but the average American, not the poor, 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 because those are just gonna work and just be looking at everything stage, what's going on. But the average ones are still gonna be able to make a little bit money, and the billionaires, well, they're gonna make a lot of money, obviously, right? Companies and all that. Okay, so with that said, whoo, I'm in a good one. Just things go on my mind. Work, work, work. So with that said, um, it's about apartments, condos, duplex. It's gonna boom based on we need people are homeless, based on they're gonna use certain tools to but it has nothing to do helping. I mean, they're gonna help a little bit, but it's more 80% helping themselves. Big corporation coming 20% helping the needy. Okay, and that's as I always work, and that's the way it's gonna always work. With that said, this is just my diary, like I always say. This is what's going on, and that's it. It's 30 minutes, too long. I gotta go. Gotta keep working and doing everything. Okay. So no, there's no recession coming to loom. You guys been saying that 3 years ago. I remember. No recession. This is systematically, I guess not planned, but it's just another slingshot. They're double dipping for another slingshot. And this slingshot is going to be major. This is the last one. And it's going to last probably around 5 years, 6 years, and then maybe even four. A good time, a lot of money, a lot of prosperity. And then the deflation starts and the recession, and they reset the plan all over again. Maybe in 2024 is going to be so good, and this is what they're going to use in order to get another 4 years. So by another 4 years, maybe by 2027, it will last, and we're gonna get the recession after 2028, which is the next presidential election. They'll okay. So you can understand. They'll have the Obama term, the mess. They'll get the mess. Whether it's a Republican, Democrat, they'll get the mess. Okay. So with that said, I'm out. See you. Take care, and just get more knowledgeable on things. Bye.